I'm waiting for my invite to come meet you at the Wave Park as well.
Well, if you're ever flying into Bristol, I mean, you probably wouldn't be flying into Liverpool, but if you are flying into Bristol, give me a shout and I'll make sure I'm not there.
Welcome to episode 7, I believe, on the Talk Story Christian Surfers podcast. I'm your host, Mark Sawyer-Chu. And before we get started, if you guys like Phil Williams, we need you guys to subscribe to the YouTube link below for Christian Surfers International. And even if you don't like them, subscribe. I don't know where the button is on YouTube, Phil. Do you know where it is? Is it down, left, up, right?
I think it's like that, mate.
That's right.
Yeah,
click everywhere. Anyway. Yes, that's it. That's it. So, Phil, I was thinking about you the other week because, as I mentioned earlier, we had CJ Hobgood on the last podcast, and I was just praying in meditation and quiet time, saying, Lord, where do we go from here? There's nowhere to go.
The surface.
That's right. That's right. There's nowhere to go after CJ Hobgood, and the Lord said, "There's only one more place to go, and that's Phil Williams. You got to get Phil on the podcast." And I said, "Lord, this guy's the busiest guy in Christian Surfers. I don't know if I can get him." And the Holy Spirit said, "Trust me. Just go knock, go send a message on WhatsApp, and trust me."
Go wake him up. Go wake him up.
Well, thank you, Phil, for making time with your schedule, and we know how busy you are. You just got back on a road trip, right, with your family? You went out with your kids and Annie. Is that right?
So we went. We just went down to Cornwall. We were there for a few days, and we've actually got some sunshine. I know that nobody believes you get sunshine in England, but this is our fourth day of about 30 degrees.
I can see that in the background, unless that's a green screen.
Yeah, no, it is a green screen, but it's a green screen that God created and my wife helped bring to life. So
it looks beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. So we were down in Cornwall, and I celebrated my 59th birthday, and we also celebrated our
happy birthday, Phil.
33rd wedding anniversary. So and it was just made a beautiful day, stand-up paddleboarding, no surf, but the sea was just so good. So yeah, it was a very, very special day.
That's amazing, Phil. I thought you had turned 89, so you're only 59.
Yeah, and you and obviously all my buddies, well, actually all two of them are invited to my 60th on July the 22nd next year. And well, there's one or two plans for that, because if there's one age that's freaked me out, 60 is the new 40 for me. So I'm going to celebrate it with joy, I think, and have a lot of fun.
I love that. Happy birthday, Phil. Well, you have more energy than the 25-year-olds in Christian Surfers. And so, and you don't look a day over 40. So happy pre-birthday, Phil. Definitely be there. Yeah, I know you shave your head like Kelly Slater on purpose, just because you don't want to make the rest of us feel bad, that do have hair. So well done, Phil, on an amazing journey. Continue the great work. And for those of you who don't know and are watching the podcast right now, who's this beautiful man on the other end of the Zoom call? Not only, don't look behind you. That's Dan did, right? We're talking about you, Phil. Not only is he the boss man in Europe, and not only is he known for his good looks in CS, but this man does many things, including running a magazine for Christian Surfers UK called Second Day. Is that correct, Phil?
It is indeed, yeah. There's a long history about that, but I won't bore your listeners now.
I'll ask you about it in 5 minutes. I always get confused. Third day, second day, fourth day, but I knew I had a 1 in 4 chance of getting that right. He's also the national director of Christian Surfers United Kingdom. He's also the Christian Surfers International European coordinator and area facilitator. Oh, go ahead.
No, just Middle East and Africa.
Oh, just EMA, just the Middle East and Europe and Africa for Christian Surfers. Kind of a large area, kind of a large region, nonetheless. You also do work for Christian Skaters in the UK, correct?
I was one of the founding members of Christian Skaters, and obviously I've been involved for the last 15 plus years. But the amazing thing is I'm handing it over to a very, very capable person, i.e. my son. So that's very, very exciting. That's like a double whammy.
Awesome. You're handing it over to Joe.
Yeah, but I'll still be involved, but let these youngsters do the skating, although I'm
I
not
love
going to
it.
give up skating.
Very cool. But yeah, you're going to be a surfer and a skater for life. Your son is awesome, passing on the legacy. Well done, Joe. And you also founded and run two surf contests in the UK, correct? The Jesus Surf Classic and the Jesus Longboard Classic.
Yeah, I was. It would have been, had it not been for this pandemic, it would have been our 28th Jesus Surf Classic. And I got involved 26 years ago on that. So there was the Jesus Pro-Am for a couple of years before that. And then obviously the contest got so big that we had to start the Jesus Longboard Classic 12 years ago in order to make sure that we didn't squeeze everything into one weekend, which was just getting too chaotic. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey.
That's awesome, Phil. I'm still waiting for my wild card invite. So maybe you could pass it to...
But the good news is we're going to do an online version.
Okay. All right. I got to
you have an opportunity.
That's it. I just got to find a filmer. Get a clip for you. I love that, Phil. So as ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can see, Phil hasn't really done a lot. We're asking him to step it up, maybe found a few more surf contests, run a few more magazines, help a couple other regions as well, Christian Surfers Universe. And so we're just kidding, Phil. We love you so much. He's easily the man in person, the myth and the legend of Christian surfers that we say doesn't sleep. I think you've told me once you sleep about an average of 5 hours a night. Is that correct?
5 hours is good, yeah.
5 hours.
Which is not always good for everybody. The Duracell bunny.
Yeah, the majority, like myself, that's about half of what we need. So that's amazing, Phil. And it is true that you have more energy than people half your age in the mission. So what a godsend you are to all of us, the tribe on mission for Christian surfers. How has COVID, and you alluded to this a little bit with the contest, and I know you just ran, you're one of the first leaders in Christian surfers to run and host a virtual gathering 100% online. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, for us, sadly, we just made the decision that the two surf classics are going to be cancelled, which means that all our events really from March this year right through to the end of this year will all be cancelled. And that's not just the ones that we run, but also probably 10 or 15 that we get involved in supporting and serving at. So that's been a real disappointment. But again, there's opportunities. And so our national gathering, we decided to not just sit on our backsides and do nothing, but how are we going to actually do even perhaps more than we could and reach far more people. So we had a little core planning team, did a fantastic job with content. We started off on Friday night with a quiz and various things like that. And then Saturday morning devotions and worship. And then Saturday night was a great fun-filled evening. And then Sunday again was worship and a message and tube station. So yeah, it was a fantastic thing. So that worked really well. And then we also did an online annual general meeting. And we all know that people get really excited about annual general meetings and not many people show up. But actually doing this, focusing and giving thanks for what God has been doing was a real good way of doing it. And so perhaps in the new normal, we'll carry on doing the annual general meetings online because you can connect with so many people. And if you do it well.
Oh my gosh. You're going to have to repeat everything you just said in the last 20 minutes. I'm sorry, buddy. Where
do you want to start again from?
That's the last question. Let me tee it up for you again. Thank Jesus that Phil Williams has the patience and the grace of a saint. So again, we're going to blame this probably on the Lanzarote Wi-Fi. By the way, Phil, what's it going to take to get you back out here?
The fact that hopefully I won't have to go into self-isolation for 14 days when I come back, because that for me would just be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, I know. Even if you were at home for like 4 minutes, you would just go nuts. You're just an animal that needs to live outside and do the many things that you do, Phil. And back to the question before Satan shut down the internet here on the island. The question for you, Phil, was how has COVID affected you this year? Because we spoke a little bit about the contest that you started and founded in the UK. You're one of the first Christian surfer leaders to host a completely virtual and digital online conference or gathering for your nation. How's it been for you this year so far?
But if I just deal with the CS as opposed to my personal life, which is obviously another story in itself, but just as far as CS, from our last leaders gathering, which was in March, early March, 2 days before shutdown, every one of our events between then and the end of the year have now been cancelled. And that includes obviously the ones that we run, but also probably 10 or 15 that we actually support and serve at. So that's been a real disappointment. So we had two decisions. We either sit on our backside and do nothing, or we get out there and think of imaginative ways, which I think God has given us the brain power to do. So we decided to get a little core team and deal with our national gathering. And we got a really good, interesting mix from Friday night right the way through to Sunday, and put it all together. And we reached out to far more people than we would have done had it been face to face. So it just showed that if you've got imagination, you can connect. And we just continue to pray for those divine appointments from people just tuning in that would never perhaps come face to face or look at you at an event. So that's been really encouraging. And likewise with the annual general meeting, which I know people start yawning at, for us, it was really exciting to have an annual general meeting where we're praising God and showing what God's been doing for the last year. And people were coming on it specifically for that. And again, we reached far more people than we would normally do. So that's given us food for thought for whatever this new normal looks like. But certainly, as far as the annual general meeting is concerned, we may just carry on doing that every year and connecting with people all around the membership, not just those that can travel perhaps 100 miles or something.
Yeah, I love that about you, Phil. Never short of imagination or creativity. No idea that this guy has not tried, and always thinking about others and other communities. Even with the 50,000 projects you already had on your plate, you still took time during the quarantine and during the lockdown to go and pack up food for the homeless, I believe. I thought I saw something on that, and that was just cool.
Not actually pack up the food. So I was looking after 100 plus volunteers. So I was coordinating all the prescription deliveries. So we did 4,000 prescription home deliveries with a team, amazing team that was working alongside me. And then I was coordinating the food bank stuff, but just really the rotas, because a lot of people were doing the main bits. And then I was just making sure that I was part of the senior leadership team, fantastic team here in Nailsea. And to be honest, it was quite hard work, but it actually was as much a benefit for me as I think it was for hopefully those I served against. I used my skill sets before my sort of CS life as a distribution director. And as far as Annie was concerned, it was a godsend. I wasn't around the house all day long.
Oh, come on. She loves to have you around. That's epic.
It's the longest since we got married that I haven't traveled. So we've been together for like 17 weeks and we're still married. It's amazing.
I think you're a pretty amazing husband and father and
absolutely
leader. Yeah. We love you, Phil. Now, speaking of which, happy anniversary, by the way, to you and Annie. I've heard that you've, through the grapevine, that you have emceed some pretty cool weddings in the UK, namely around the Liverpool area. Have you done any cool Christian surfer couples that we might know of?
I don't think I've done any cool ones. No, not really cool. I've just done you and Lydia, though. Oh, that was quite cool. Yeah. No, that was a real honor. Annie and I traveled up there on the Friday night and just met up with you guys. And I thought everything I was doing was all laid out. And you said, oh, by the way, Phil, is there any chance you could do this and maybe that and maybe the other thing? So I went from just really enjoying the wedding to like pulling my hair out. But it was a great day.
Yeah. Luckily, you didn't have any hair before the wedding. But no, we knew if anyone in the world could handle more stuff on his plate, it would be you. So we figured, if Phil's coming, why don't we just have him set up the whole venue and tear it down afterwards? Because that's what he does for everybody else, and he gives his shirt off his back all the time. So thank you for doing that, Phil. You were fantastic. You did such a great job. We were so blessed to have you. And
It was a great day, a lovely day.
And you've also you've done some cool time on my couch or my bed in when I was a bachelor, pre-Lydia days in Costa Mesa, California.
Yeah, I have indeed, but of course that's not for discussion on this podcast because you know what stays in the room. Well, what happened in the room stayed in the room. But no, it was great to just hang out with you. And I remember we surfed at whatever pier it was, or something just down from Huntington. And I think I had 3 waves with you, and then my leash plug popped out of the board that I borrowed from Brian Jennings. But I think he still loves me. Not sure.
Yes. I told him, hey, Brian, we'll fix this for you. I think he had secretly planned that, giving you just like a lemon board. He actually put a banana as wax on that, but you still surfed it amazing, Phil. Even when the leash plug popped out. So that was such a great trip with you. We always love it when you come through California, or anyone's just stoked or blessed to have you whenever you go through the area. So I know you have a shifting gears real quick. I know you've got a slightly long wave near your home. Is it called the River Bore?
It's called the 7-bore, and obviously, when I talk about it, people think it's Phil's the bore rather than the 7's the bore. But yeah, no, it's not the longest wave in the world, although it's officially or unofficially on the Guinness Book of Records the longest that everybody's actually stood up the whole way through. There's 1 or 2 Aussies that think they won it in the Bono, but we know that they proned it for a while. So the real winner is Steve King on my river wave. Yeah, I've ridden it for, I think my record is 27 minutes. And
27 minutes on one wave.
One wave. It's a very, very special river community. We call them Muddy Brothers, which includes sisters as well. And I just see it as another opportunity to share my faith and just be with people in a relevant way. And behind every surfer is a story. And I love listening to the stories and just really getting to know those individuals. So it's been some very special times. We'll be on it in 2 weeks' time in the summer, you know, with spring suits and all that sort of stuff. But we also will be on it when the air, I think the coldest we've ever surfed it, the river was in fact 2 degrees. And it was absolutely bitterly cold. The beast from the east had come down. But again, there's still such a community to look after each other. And you always end up with breakfast afterwards. So that's not bad, is it?
No, that's epic. I'm also waiting for my invite on that one. Would you guys mind if the Muddy Brothers and Sisters, if we brought all of the Christian Surfers International global crew to the 7-bore to ride it with you guys? Would it fit all of us?
I don't think they'd be talking to me afterwards. But if you came and you promised not to get too excited, then I would gladly take you. But actually, You're allowed to get too excited because that's what it is. It's an incredible thing which God's created. And it just goes up the river on this incredible tidal surge from the probably about 20 miles it goes in total. You can't ride it all the way, but depending on what the conditions are, you can just have an incredible time. And I've ridden it with up to 60 people on it. So that's a little bit chaotic.
60 people. That's a little bit of a party wave, but that's fantastic. Well, 27 minutes, Phil. That's a long time, plenty of time to share the gospel, which I guess is while you're there. So that's so cool.
Couple got engaged while riding it.
Very cool.
Yeah, there was one stretch. They knew it all. The guy got it sussed out. He had a dummy ring and that, and we all filmed it. And she didn't know anything about it. And they were riding along, and he proposed on the knee. And yeah, it's very special.
Very cool. There you go, Phil. So next time, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are in the UK. You got 27 minutes to spare. You don't mind 20-mile leg burners. And you want to go love on some river people with Phil Williams. There you go, 7-bore, or we'll just rename it Phil's Bore in the CS Ohana community. Phil, that's awesome. Keep up the great work. Love seeing the content and the footage. If you guys don't follow Phil on Facebook, make sure that you do. He posts. Phil, you're very good at your social media. It looks like you have a full-time social media director from my end, but you're just able to get things up and get up cool stories every day.
Yeah, although some people say that, you know, obviously what they see on Facebook is real life, but of course you only put the exciting things, don't you? You don't put the many hours at a desk because people aren't interested in that, but that's the reality. But I just believe there's 24 hours in every day, and it's how you use those 24 hours. So life to the full is my motto. John 10:10. Love it.
Amen. Yep. The theme of our Costa Rica International Christian Surfers Conference as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why Phil only sleeps 5 hours a day, because he doesn't want to waste the 24 hours that we have in a day, where I probably waste more than half of that. Anyway, we know that Kelly has his wave park, the Surf Ranch in Lemoore. Some people may or may not know that you've got your own wave park in Bristol. Tell us a little bit about that wave. And I've heard there's a little peak there called Phil's Peak. How'd you get involved with them?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just believe God's put all sorts of opportunities in the way. And when a good friend of mine now first said he was going to do this mad thing about a wave park in the UK, I just felt God was saying, hey, Phil, just see if you can help in any way. And so I just reached out to Nick. We had a great conversation. He said, well, obviously for you, Phil, surfing is not just riding waves, there's far more to it. The whole health side of it, the environment, etc., etc. We're planning to do some sort of not-for-profit foundation. So would you like to get involved with that? And that was probably 9 years ago. And just journeying with Nick over that, there's been some highlights. There's been some pretty hard lowlights as well. But I've just got to know as a real good friend. And what I love about it is the park, which finally opened in September, has got so many people and it's got so many lives. I love to hear about the lives, almost like an unofficial chaplain, really, just going down there. And in my book, I make a little note who they are so I can just connect with them and remember, because my memory is not too good. And it's been just really, really good. Of course, it's fun riding the waves, but I just love the people and the community. And it's like a crossroads for surfing in the UK. So it's almost like, all you people laughed at me because I was so far away from the sea. And then suddenly I've got the biggest crossroads of surfing just 21 minutes from my house. So for me, it's a real pleasure. In fact, I'm going to go there after this interview. So I'm going to talk real quick so that I don't miss my little session there. But the crew at CS Bristol, we're meeting there tonight, just as a way of, bringing again, showing them what it is. Some have been and some haven't been. And I just think it's a phenomenal place. And Nick's never... I suppose his view of what it wants it to be has never changed, and it wants it to be far more than just a place of smiles and enjoyment, but a place that can really help people in all sorts of ways. And I just love that story. So happy to jump in with him for the ride.
That's so cool, Phil. And then when you say Nick, that's your friend that is the founder and the CEO of the Wave in Bristol, correct?
Yes. Yeah, Nick Heinz. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Well, they are very lucky there to have you as part of their community, always loving on people from the river to the wave park. And as you said, God's got such a great sense of humor, because I do remember, myself included, we give you a hard time for being away from the ocean, but always being one of the best Christian surfers from the inside out. And the Lord just said, you know what, I'm going to just shut these people up and put a wave park 20 minutes from Phil Williams' house in Bristol. So, Hopefully you're visiting that place every day, Phil.
A lot of people think I do. And in fact, I visit it far more than I surf it, because obviously cost comes into it. But I just love going there and just meeting everybody. So, I probably go there since it's reopened about 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 times a week. I take my laptop. Sometimes I work and other times I just talk. So it's great.
Well, luckily for your job, Phil, talking is working. And it's good to know. Yeah. It's good to know about your little prayer black book, because if you end up in there, a good chance that Phil is praying for you. Now, Phil,
it's on the iPhone, but other phones are available.
Oh, yeah. There you go. The digital prayer black book. Phil, if I or someone else in Christian Surfers were to go, I want to book a personal coaching session with Phil at the Wave, how would someone go about getting in there for surf?
Basically, just go online. So at the moment, it's amazing. It's about 21-degree water temperature. And they've got sessions now from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. And so the challenge is trying to find the sessions that aren't completely full. The good news is for the crew there it is looking pretty full throughout the summer. So that's fantastic for them, because it was locked down for over 4 months just when they were starting to get the bookings in. So I'm so thrilled for them. It's been quite a journey, but yeah, it's been great.
That's so cool, Phil. Well, I haven't surfed in the UK yet. And I hope my first surf there. No, I have not. It's a shame, since my better half is from there. But hopefully,
it's a challenge. Come and do the Triple Crown. In one day, we'll ride the Bore, the Wave, and the coast. There's a challenge.
Wow! Forget the Triple Crown of Hawaii. We're talking about the Triple Crown of Phil Williams, UK. I'm in. I'm in for that challenge. I'm gonna have to train for this. Thanks. Hopefully that was an invite, Phil. Thanks so much for that. I did want to ask you how, and I forgot to do this earlier in the podcast, but how can people follow you or join the movement or the missions there in the UK? Is there an Instagram, an email, a Facebook that people could track you at?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Instagram is concerned, we've got one, Christian Surfers UK. That's it, all one word. And then mine is Phil Surfboy. And then as far as Christian Surfers UK is concerned, www.christiansurfers.co.uk or the Christian Surfers UK and various other subgroups on Facebook. So yeah, we're pretty active, and you never know, you meet all sorts of lovely people. But we got about, I suppose, in the UK, maybe 350, 400 members from all over the UK. And in lockdown especially, it's been great to get to know them remotely as well, because you've got the opportunity. So don't miss that opportunity to get to know people, even though they're 200 or 300 miles away.
That's awesome, Phil. Is there an account or page for CS Europe as well?
There's not really. We're very keen to get the individual countries going. To have an overall one, all it would be is a signpost, and you can do that through the international one. So we didn't want to waste any more time on putting just another signpost there. So go through the international one, you'll see all the countries listed there.
Wow, that's a great update, Phil. We got to be praying for Nick, and there's just very evident of your fruit and your love for people around you. So keep up the great work. There's obviously, as you know, the reason why you're there. I'm waiting for my invite to come meet you at the Wave Park as well.
Well, if you're ever flying into Bristol, I mean, you probably wouldn't be flying into Liverpool, but if you are flying into Bristol, give me a shout and I'll make sure I'm not there.
I love that. Always taking the Christian Mickey out of each other. I love that, our relationship, Phil. That's so cool. How far is it from your home?
Approximately 22 minutes.
Okay. I love that. I can either go to Lidl or Aldi, or I can go meet you at the Wave in Bristol, which sounds much more fun. That's epic, Phil. Keep up the great work there. Keep loving on all those people, and keep shining your light. We are going to go into the lightning boat round with Phil Williams. So, Phil, I've got about a little less than 10 questions for you here on the Christian Surface Talk Story podcast. But here we go. First question for you. Bodyboard, handplane, shortboard, longboard, fish, sup, foil, or kayak? You write it all, Phil Williams. What's your choice?
Still got to be shortboard. And longboard is for Christmas, not for life. Just remember that.
I love that. Well, on the riverboard, do you have to? Can you ride a shortboard? Do you have to ride a longboard or foil?
No, for the board, obviously it is a longboard. I have a 10-foot amazing wooden board, which is created for me by a guy called Daily Bread Surfboards, and yes, it's a beautiful beast that I ride. It's quite heavy, but it's good for the exercise. So yeah, got to ride a longboard for the bore. They have ridden shortboards occasionally, but the ride becomes so much shorter.
Yeah. You just can't. The wave doesn't have the power and the energy, I guess, to push a shortboard along the whole way.
Sometimes a longboard will just get through that section, which will build again, and you just want to maximize your river time, really. Yeah.
Well, I remember one time I met up with you there in the UK. You brought an inflatable kayak for me to try on the famous English canals. Maybe you could take that and film a video for us at the 7-bore next time you go. See if your friends excommunicate you.
That was on the River Thames, and we went just to celebrate you guys' engagement and that with Lydia's sister and everybody. So yeah, that was a very special afternoon.
Yeah, no, that was better for, than surfing the 7-bore. I'd rather just go kayak the English canals with you, buddy. That was epic. That was fun. Second question for you, back to the lightning boat round with Phil Williams here. Beaches, reef, or Point Break?
Point Break, I think so. There's not too many in the UK, but there's nothing that I like better than just lining something up and just going again. And obviously, J Bay has got to be one of those up there, but not the normal spots in J Bay that some people go to, but just a bit further down the point. I love it.
Yes, those secret spots that we all know of that rhyme with Philbies, sort of. Rights, lefts, or straightaways? Phil, what's your pick? Which direction do you like to go?
Rights. I'm natural, so it's got to be rights, really.
Gotta be rights. Okay, awesome. Well, you are pretty good at those rights. I've seen you get most of them in front of me. You never give me any. All right, next question. Single fin, 20, thruster, quad, bonzer, or finless, Phil? What would be your choice?
Well, traditionally for shortboards, I normally ride a 3 fin. But on the wave, it's interesting. I've got this Almeric twin fin. And I haven't been really using it, but then you suddenly bring it to the wave. It's got a bit of buoyancy, and it's super fun again. So yeah, I've suddenly started getting back into it.
I love that.
But if
Rediscovering.
I had one set of thing, rediscovering, yeah, and that's the great thing about it. You can just experiment.
I love that, Phil. Always open, and again, creative and imaginative. I know you like to throw Hail Mary air reverses, but if it were your choice of barrels, turns, or airs, what would be your pick?
Well, I can dream about them all, can't I? Really, apart from turns. No, I think just the few times I've got in the barrel has got to be, the heart's been beaten away, and when you got out and get your hair's still dry, sheesh, that's got to be for me the highlight, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be tough to keep your hair dry, Phil, especially in the cold UK. We talked earlier about the longest wave that you've ridden, which I don't think anyone else in CS has got a 20-mile or 27-minute wave. What would be your least favorite wave in the world?
Oof. I don't, apart from something that's just gale force 8 howling on shore with middle of winter and it's a 20-minute paddle out, that's got to be the least favorite wave.
Now, that's a pretty normal surf, though, for you in the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah. It is, but it's still not my favorite.
I love that, Phil. I'm sure you do amazing with the ice cream headaches, always persevering, getting out the back. This is probably going to be the easiest question for you in the Phil Williams Lightning Boat Round. Who has burned you the worst in Christian surfers? Who's dropped in on Phil Williams the worst in CS?
There's only one person. It's got to be BD.
Same answer as Cristiano.
Yeah, he does it with a smile, but it doesn't matter, He's got loads of waves at home. I've got none. So
yeah, I love that. Founder advisor Brett Davis, as we spoke about in the first podcast with Casey Cristiano, when you're founder advisor, you can just pretty much go on anybody.
Yeah,
but
with my blessing.
Yes. Yeah, don't drop in on me, Brett. Just this guy here. He says you can take all his waves. Always more generous than me, Phil. I love that. Favorite person to surf in Christian Surfers with, Phil?
Apart from yourself?
Yes. Other than myself.
I couldn't put a name on that. There are so many people that I paddle out with in so many different countries. I call it home away from home, and every one of them just puts massive smiles on my faces. So I won't be drawing any individual because I just love the CS movement and the community it provides. And there's nothing better than paddling out and just seeing all those smiling faces, especially at international gathering time, because there's so many countries, so many nationalities, and so much fun. And they're probably some of the most special times when you just see them all smiling and hollering people into the waves.
So cool. I love that, Phil. Always having the best Christian PC answers, Sir Phil Williams. And the correct answer would be Jesus, by the way. Just kidding. No, what you said was awesome, Phil. Last question for you in the Lightning Bolt Round. How can we be praying for you, the family, and the movement that you help lead and oversee in your areas?
Yeah, I think the big challenge for me is, not just resting on our laurels. The key thing that came out for us from the gathering this year, even the leaders gathering back in March, was about wait, watch, and pray. And I think just having those as a pretty strong mantra is pretty important. What is God saying through these times? And I don't just want to say, hey, you know what? I've got a real easy roll now because there's no events to organize. It's almost like, yeah, but what is God encouraging us to do, to get involved with? Who is God encouraging us to connect with? And one of my roles that I took quite seriously during the lockdown was stopping and praying in the morning and saying, okay, who needs my prayers today? God just put some people on my heart. And then I would just let them know, and I would text them. And amazingly, at worst, it was, oh, that's nice, Phil. But so many times it was, hey, Phil, thanks so much for that. And I'm not, as I say, I haven't got any particular powers over that. It's just, I really do believe that when you pray specifically for people, God puts people on your hearts and you can encourage them. And I always say encouraging costs nothing. So I think, what does the rest of this year look like, and 2021? Because it's going to be crazy busy, not just in the UK, but throughout Europe and Middle East and Africa, and there's a lot of people that are still going through this real tough time. So how can we support them? Some of that will be financially as well, but others just need that encouragement to say, okay, what you traditionally did, you're not doing in the moment, but are there ways you can still connect and build community remotely? So that's, I think it's really what we're looking at now, to say, what's this next 12 months going to look like? And if we need to think outside the box, fine, because God's given us a brain to do that. And let's just move forward with that in mind.
Yeah, definitely uncertain future, but we have a certain God named Jesus that we follow. Thanks, Phil, for sharing all that. We will be praying for you, the family, and all the people in your area. Let's get you off to the wave park to meet up with some people and hopefully get you a sneaky wave.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Awesome, Phil. It was so good to see you, brother. And
good to almost see you anyway, but that's so good. We miss you guys here. But,
yeah, we miss you too, Phil. And we can't wait to travel again freely, hopefully without a 14-day quarantine, to come see our little English buddy anywhere in the world. We always love hanging out with you, Phil. Thanks for all the hard work that you do for Christian Surfers. We're so blessed to have you. You're such a legend. You're such a warrior and a champion of hearts for communities and everybody around you. Try to take at least 3.5 hours off sometime next month. For your, because everybody needs a Sabbath, including you, Phil. I know, even though you don't sleep. And we love you, Phil. We can't wait to catch up with you again. We'll talk to you soon. Again, if you like Phil, don't forget to subscribe somewhere on the page.
And if you don't like Phil, don't forget to subscribe somewhere on the page.
That's it. God bless you, Phil. Give Abby, Joe, Annie, the family a big hug for us, and we'll see you soon.
My pleasure. Take care. You.